Welcome to the All Family Pharmacy special right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network to really get ahead of the flu season as we enjoy the fall, every beautiful color it brings, but also the fact that people can get sick during this time of year. And we are joined by Michael Kunzler, the co-owner of All Family Pharmacy, and David McCary, pharmacist, expert on how you can make sure you stay safe during this time, because you might have the kids at home coming back from school and they have the coughs and the sweats and the fever out of nowhere. What are you to do when that medicine cabinet remains empty? Or even, what about work? What about the phone calls? What about getting back into the office? We know this is a post-COVID world, and that changed so many different things over the course of the last 5 years to introduce new diseases into our society. So again, this special brought to you by All Family Pharmacy. You can go to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN to learn of all of the great deals and the life-saving medications that can be ready to go for you in your medicine cabinet or again on the road for that family vacation. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us to really outline how special this company is and why All Family Pharmacy really making a difference for online pharmacies and the way that Americans can protect themselves during this flu and COVID season.
Thank you. Appreciate you having both of us for once. Normally it's just one or the other, so this should be fun.
Thank you. Great to be here.
And walk us through, gentlemen, the general trends. We have colds, we have flus, we have RSV, we have H1N1. I know back when I was in college, we almost had to shut down the campus because of a strain of the coronavirus. Now, that was not necessarily a household name until what we experienced with COVID-19 dating back 5 years ago. But we know each and every flu season now mixed with COVID, there are these different strains. So what's the best way for Americans to get ahead of these diseases that may not necessarily make them very, very sick where they're staying in the hospital like we saw a few years ago, but can make you uncomfortable, have that cold that lingers for about a couple of weeks and then prevents you from getting your work done? Because we know that this time of year can bring a number of different diseases.
Oh, yeah. Staying prepared with the medications. You know, he's a pharmacist. He's an expert in this. I'm a father, so I'm an expert in being prepared. So I have kids, daycare, kindergarten. They bring home some of the nastiest stuff that we've seen. And, just being prepared medicine-wise, because it's only a matter of time, unfortunately, now that we've mixed COVID with flu. The seasons are only getting worse since 2020. But the one thing I do know, and my wife knows, a lot of families know, is that what works for you when it comes to medications. So I've kind of built up my little medicine cabinet every year of what medications works best for me, what works for my kids, what works for my wife, just in order to be prepared for the inevitable. It's only a matter of time. And unfortunately, in the flu season back in the day, it used to be just influenza. You would just either get a sinus infection or you would just get the flu, and that would be it. Now, September, you get COVID. December, you get influenza. And then allergy season's not even here yet. So it's like we've now doubled the amount of times we're getting sick every year. So it's always best to be prepared. And on a larger scale, more and more people are getting sick every year, and it's causing shortages on the supply chains. So being prepared is actually more important now than ever. And I'm not saying keep a kit with 20 medications in your medicine cabinet. Just have one or two antibiotics that work best for you. Maybe some Tamiflu, maybe some, rescue inhalers, Medrol dose packs, whatever, has worked for you in the past is what I usually would suggest. But when it comes to specific remedies, I always, go to my head honcho here, the specialist pharmacist here at All Family Pharmacy, David McCary.
And David, walk us through some of those general remedies as well as these life-saving medications. How can you keep yourself safe from all this? Is it good hygiene? Is it sleep? Is it regular exercise in addition to what's provided at All Family Pharmacy to make sure that you can watch out for what might be around the bend?
Well, you brought up a great point, as you just mentioned, and as Michael had mentioned as well. Prevention and being proactive is huge. It's extremely important for a few reasons. Number one, if it can completely prevent, from getting any type of bacteria or virus infection, that'd be fantastic. But if you also do a little bit more, it may prevent it from getting to a severe or more dangerous level. So that way you can treat it and it won't last as long. So both of those reasons are important to know and understand. So as you mentioned, hygiene. The thing that we hear about the most, and unfortunately, I think we don't always follow through. It's just a normal, natural thing. Washing your hands, as often as you, not necessarily constantly, but as often as you can. Especially more often if you're out in public places, the doors. You're going out to different stores, different locations, and schools with the kids. Hand sanitizers. It's convenient enough. They're readily available. Keep it in your pocket, keep it in your purse, keep it in the car. So if you just come out from a place with a lot of people, sometimes it's nice just to squirt a little bit, squirt it on the hands of the kids, just to help out. And it does help. I'm not saying it's 100% effective, but it does help, minimize the actual contractability of it from one person to another. So that's vitally important. As Michael had mentioned, and you as well, having a kit on hand. Understand, from a flu, pneumonia, influenza, all the different types, corona, there's different types. Certain ones are of a bacterial strain, thus you need antibiotics. Other ones are more viral, you're going to need antivirals. So as Michael said, it's good to have a little bit of each, knowing which one we're treating. Some of the symptoms that help to differentiate, to understand. And again, we don't want to necessarily override from a physician standpoint. It's always great and always best, to contact the physician, discuss it with them, and get their approval. But at least you have access to that. So when the physician says, oh yeah, this is what you want to use. Okay, great. We already have that. You can go with it. So to having that emergency kit, as we call it and refer to it, having the different choices from antibiotics, antivirals. Something for the cough and cold, and a lot of those remedies are available over the counter. We have some here that we can still certainly put together in the kit with the other medications. Inhalers to help with breathing. The steroids, obviously, that's a big one if it gets to that point. And again, as Michael had mentioned, and I'd like to reiterate what works best for you. Because when it comes to medications, and that's why there are so many doses, because it needs to be personalized and individualized. That's very important. So that's why we like to put that kit to have those options, even for the family members, the adults, the children, different doses. But it's very important to have that and be proactive with it.
What are the first signs that you can recognize the difference between the cold, the flu, RSV, maybe even COVID? Should they call you immediately, or is there a testing process as well that they can take maybe with an at-home kit in order to know exactly what they're dealing with?
Okay, so there are different tests and different kits. Unfortunately, the downside with that is by the time you get some of those results back, is not all of them are instantly. Obviously, the COVID, when you do the swab, you can get that and come back, and it could show you if you're testing positive for COVID. But not necessarily for the cold and flu right away. And unfortunately, you don't want to wait that many days because you really need to get started. So most physicians and other healthcare providers, we tend to go with what normally we see and to help us to diagnose and treat based on our healthcare knowledge and experience. So to help to say just right off the bat, the difference between a cold, you're going to see more, the sniffles, the sneezing, watery eyes, the coughing and sneezing. Those are very common. You just feel sluggish, you feel tired. Now you will repeat with some of the other ones when you have the flu. You're certainly going to feel sluggish and tired and achy. Those are common among bacterial, other types of viruses as well. So there are some commonality between them. But when the flu, that's going to be more accompanied with a fever. So when you have the fever and it's that much more severe, and it also unfortunately tends to disrupt the GI, gastrointestinal tract, and then therefore you're going to have more GI issues accompanied with that when it's the flu. Usually that does not happen with the common cold. So that's part of the way we help diagnose and know what direction and what treatment is best based on some of the signs and symptoms that the patient will tell us.
You are currently watching All Family Pharmacy's special on Right Side Broadcasting Network with David McCary and Michael Kunzler of All Family Pharmacy. You can actually find these life-saving medications at allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Prepare for the cold and flu season. We know there's COVID strains out there, so why not have that medicine cabinet stocked up, or even these life-saving medications that you can take with you on the road? And gentlemen, how do you exactly protect your family in this moment? Because we talk a lot about young people in the house and those kids being vessels for disease when they go right back to school. Roughly a lot of them K through 12 have been in for the last couple of weeks or even the last month. So they get those sniffles that they didn't necessarily have in the summertime, regardless of where they live in the United States. And again, with our elderly population, always good to watch out for them, especially. But we're right down the street here, our studios, from Auburn University. And my doctor always told me when I was in college, just be careful about the bowl of popcorn, the sharing of food, make sure everyone's hands and that hydration and hygiene happening in order to remain healthy. And in many cases, too, getting the right restful sleep in order to prepare for your day. So how much of that comes into effect in addition to being prepared with stocking your medicine cabinet?
It's gonna give you peace of mind, first off, and that's probably most important, because stress can do more damage than everything we just spoke about. Stress can kill you, and that's the last thing you want to do. So that's what we're here for. We're here to make it easy and convenient. It's very easy. You go to the website, you can place your orders, you can give us a call and place your orders. So we try to make it as convenient and as reliable and as fast as possible for you. That's why we encourage everybody to use our FedEx 2-day shipping. Our processing times, we tell our doctors these patients need to be reviewed, signed, approved, denied, whichever the case may be. It's got to be in a timely manner within 1 to 3 business days. It cannot take long. So we've got our rules and regulations with our practitioners on our side to make it fast and reliable. But again, we spoke about this on a different segment. The unknown can happen: snowstorms, thunderstorms, weather, delays, all that can happen. So we're always going to encourage you to be prepared. That's going to prevent you from being stressed out in that type of situation, right? You might not need an antibiotic for certain sicknesses. You might not need Tamiflu for certain sicknesses. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're going to need 10 different medications, but we're going to encourage you to be prepared for what you feel is next, and only you would know. I know what my meds I need. I've got them right in my cabinet. I call the doctor, say, hey, this is what I need. This is what I'm looking for. We go over all of my medical profile, all my allergies. We do it every year. We have to update it every year, and he prescribes it, and I bring it home. It's that simple. And my wife's stress-free because I have it. My kids get swimmers here. Everywhere I go on vacation, I have those eardrops in my suitcase, and it's helped a lot of our vacations become a little bit more peaceful. I'll tell you that, because an ear infection for a kid is not fun. So as a family, again, be prepared, stay ahead of the curve. Supply chain shortages, weather delays, all these events that could happen, the unknown.
Easy access.
So just making that easy access. That's it.
And granted that easy access, it actually seems to be one of the only bipartisan consensus and issues in the United States right now. Even President Trump addressing that in Washington, D.C. with the PBMs, signing that executive order. We've seen that in the prairie state of Illinois with Governor J.B. Pritzker as well, concerned about some of those pharmacies and some of those insurers who might be double dipping. Can you dive into that and why online pharmacies, especially All Family Pharmacy, truly the go-to for the future of this in order to make sure people are ready and safe against what could be off the market for a various amount of reasons, but also just to have the ammunition literally in your medicine cabinet to protect yourself from illness?
Sure. I'll dive right in because, David's been working in the pharmacy industry for 40 years, and he's been abused by these pharmacy benefit managers and the insurance companies for 40 years. I saw it firsthand, and I just could not believe what my eyes saw, 8 years ago. And, we stopped working with insurance carriers maybe 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. And it's been a blessing for us on the pharmacy level, and it's been a blessing for our patients. There's no more red tape. There's no more people telling you what you can and cannot take. You're an American, you're a patriot, You have the freedom to choose. As long as it's safe and effective, it's not going to hurt you. We're going to provide that medicine for you. So we're big proponents on it. We're not fans of insurance. We're not fans of corporate pharmacy. We're not going to sit here and tell you, we think you need this, we think you need that. Trust me, a lot of our patients who call and ask for David specifically have that conversation with them. He's going to give you some suggestions and recommendations based on the symptoms and stuff that you go over. And he's going to let you know, this is what I suggest and this is what I recommend. And then you're going to go see the doctor, make those suggestions, recommendations. If everything goes good, the doctor signs it and we ship it out to you. We get it to you in less than 5 business days. So I believe, what we've done has changed the face of healthcare, and it's only going to continue. And the reason why I believe that is not because of All Family Pharmacy, but because of all the competitors now. There are so many more competitors fighting for our space because they see what we did. We had, the power to fight back in 2020 and 2021 when nobody wanted to do it. There was not one there was very little pharmacies out there that wanted to do that. And we were like, why would doctors say no to ivermectin if a patient wants it? And we went over their health protocol and the doctor says they're fine to take it. Who are we to say no to them? They're Americans. They have the freedom to do as they please, as long as it's in a safe and effective manner. And we're always going to encourage that here at All Family Pharmacy.
David, can you give an outline as the pharmacist for this amazing organization when it comes to having that household preparedness, how to make that wellness kit happen, whether it's in the form of those emergency medical kits or simply writing down a plan? I can remember being in elementary school, coming home and saying, Mom, we have to have a fire escape plan. And she said, it's back through the sliding door. But it was always about being ahead of what could happen, what's the worst scenario. So as an expert in this field for now 40 plus years, what would be the best combo? Is it Tamiflu mixed with restful sleep, good hygiene, drinking enough water, having a healthy diet? What is your, magic potion in order to make sure that everyone keeps their family safe as we enter this flu and COVID season?
Well, first off, and then not to reiterate, but again, the hygiene part of it, washing the hands, sanitizer, that's important. Just to mention it one more time, because it is important to say that. But in order to talk about the kit specifically that you just asked about, as I mentioned before, it's nice to have, and again, piggyback what Michael said too, we're giving you here, which is so unique that you will not be able to get elsewhere, especially at the big box pharmacies, to be able to have options. So the nice part, we can sit here and advise and suggest and give guidance along with the physicians on what would be best for you and your family. And what I mean by that more specifically is to have the particulars, antibiotics for any bacterial infections. If it's a flu, Tamiflu, and some other type of other non-bacterial infections, whether it be for viruses or what have you, at least you have those choices and options available for you to put in that kit. Again, steroids. Steroids have a wonderful general purpose and general safe and effective use for multiple of conditions and disease states. So that allows us to have a little bit in dose, and we can dose accordingly as well. Luckily it comes in different available dosing for pediatric, for adults. All that will be discussed with both here at the pharmacist, with the physicians as well, as we do with all of our prescribing procedures. But it's nice to have the kit also to do some anti-inflammatories, because obviously when you get the aches and the pains, you definitely need something to help. And as we know, anti-inflammatories also help bring down fever if a so-called infection comes with any type of a fever. And the other thing, too, that I want to quickly mention, along with that word being proactive, is supplements. Wonderful, huge, and it really is successful. It's effective. We know that, for years and years, and it's nice to see, I think, more and more people becoming aware of this right now, of the health and wellness. And part of it is being proactive by taking different supplements and vitamins and nutritional things that we offer here as well, because we realize the importance of it, and that is part of the package. Mm-hmm. There's nothing better than having that ahead of time. So again, like I said earlier, that if you do come down with something, it won't be as severe because your body's a little bit more aware of it and stronger to be able to handle that particular infection or virus that is trying to attack your body. You're a little bit more prepared for it internally. So it's nice to be able to have that. And we realize that we put that all together as part of a package as well. It's vitally important.
Yeah, and this is actually, you can see it's our maximum immune support vitamin. You can find it on our website. We came out with this idea maybe 3 years ago. All of the conversations I had with physicians that I've spoken with who are looking for over-the-counter supplementation and vitamins during flu season was high doses of vitamin C, high doses of vitamin D3, high doses of zinc, selenium, quercetin, magnesium as well. We have our magnesium vitamin as well that we love. Obviously, a lot of people love the magnesium, but the maximum immune support I take every day during flu season. Every single morning I take it before I go to work. I feel like it keeps my immune support at the highest levels. I don't get sick like I used to get sick. And I suffer from chronic sinusitis. I used to get sinus infections 3, 4, 5 times a year. I lived on Z-Paks. It destroyed my stomach. It destroyed my gut. I hated it. Now that I take vitamins every day during flu season, I notice when I do get sick, it's not as severe. I'm not out for 3, 4 days. It's maybe a day or two. Obviously, I have my antibiotics. Obviously, I have all the other stuff that I'm ready to go with. But the maximum immune support, we've never really talked about it on the broadcast, and it's something that's a hidden gem of All Family Pharmacy. It's our own vitamin company. Everything's made here in the U.S., and we love it. 50 milligrams of zinc, which is a high dose of zinc. I have doctors who even suggest as high as 100 milligrams for males. But I love the 50 milligram. I notice my immune level is at its highest during flu season. And that's one of the reasons. It's just a simple vitamin, 2 capsules in the morning, and it's made in the U.S. What's better than that?
And it's of the highest grade. I'm just going to piggyback. The highest grade and purity that you can get in compounding these particular supplements. And that's what we thrive on, because we know there's supplements all over, all the different, drugstores are out there and the options. But unfortunately, if you wanted to do a single test on each one of them, there's going to be differences. I'm not saying the active ingredient won't be there, sure, but to what level, what dosing, what amount, and what else is it mixed with? We make sure we have the highest quality and highest standards for all of our supplements. And we're proud of that because, again, it reflects on the health and wellness as a package. I keep referring to that because it is. It's part of it. Even the medication does this, but also the supplements will take care of it. And the hygiene works in one way. It's all part of it as a complete package.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We know this because it's our brand. We refuse to sell anybody else's brand because we cannot trust them. I fired, my brother actually fired 3 different manufacturers because they can't keep up with the purest of quality when it comes to vitamins. We do our own third-party testing for them. And when the results come back and they're subpar, it's not a product of ours. We don't like that. We're on our 3rd or 4th manufacturer right now, and this one actually is one of our favorites. They're a little bit more expensive, but that's okay. That happens when you get to these levels. And so we're proud of the product. We're proud of the brand. And, we're only going to sell our stuff because we're the ones who control what's in it. And so we know it's of the highest grade quality.
Breaking news right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. If you're just tuning in, where have you been for this amazing special? It's All Family Pharmacy. We're with Michael Kunzler. We're with David McCary, who are laying out the essentials to attack flu and COVID season head on. And gentlemen, being that we've gone through everything you need in the process in order to keep you and your family safe during this time of year, what are the things to perhaps stay away from as part of your game plan to attack sickness head on?
Well, the best part of the way to answer that is, again, being proactive, okay? And I don't want to keep reiterating the same verbiage that I did about the hygiene we talked about, washing hands and keeping everything as clean as possible. But be mindful of your surroundings, especially if you're in large groups, large people, the proximity, closeness. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but it is important, especially when you're going out. Holidays are coming up, the holiday season. We're all getting together with family, with friends, or work parties. So just be mindful of that. Also, too, heading into the winter season coming up shortly, We all know, and this is again with the supplements, we all do try to do our best to get enough sleep, to eat properly, do what we're supposed to do. But we know deep down inside we could do better. We're not always eating all the healthy, best things that we could for our body. We're not getting, we're so busy. We're stressed out that we can't fall asleep when we need to. So the supplements are so important, because that's why they're called supplements. They're supplementing the things that you're not normally getting, that your body should be and does require. So that really does help. It makes a difference, and I can't stress that enough. But just being mindful of everyday, normal things that you can do to be preventative from getting any type of ailments or issues that are unwanted, especially during the holiday season with a lot of people and a lot of activity going on.
And the viewers and customers, patients right now can visit allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN for Tamiflu, ivermectin, hydrochloroquine. It's NAD+, mebendazole. In fact, over 200 essential medications, emergency medical kits, the antivirals, antibacterials, antibiotics, everything for you with no red tape, no bureaucracy. Heck, you don't even need insurance, because it's not worrying about corporations. It's worrying about you and yours and your ultimate health. So gentlemen, I'm going to have this prepared. To recap, I have my thermometer. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to practice good, healthy hygiene. I'm not necessarily going to share food. Of course, we have appetizers, but again, I'm going to go use that bathroom first, wash my hands, do that 30 to 45 second with the warm water and nice lathering of soap. Just this common sense stuff that we learned back in elementary school. And I think about it all the time. I had an 8th grade teacher, in fact, Mrs. Breen, the health teacher. I can't believe I pulled that out of my mind just now. And she would ask us to sneeze right in the arm or the sleeve, right? Not in the hands. I have always stuck with that. So Mrs. Breen, if you're watching this, thank you for that. I have practiced that for years and years now. Is there anything I'm missing in those components? Because we know that those, especially you, Michael, with the young kids, they will be vessels of germs, and they're touching surfaces and then touching their face sometimes. Maybe we can encourage the young and the elderly in our family circles to make sure they don't do that, just as a nice reminder.
Yeah, I think the number one proponent is just being prepared. To touch on David's recommendations and everything for sanitizing, sleep, hydration, those are all great. Confiding away from large crowds. It's going to happen though, and we're Americans, we're civilians, we live that life. We're not going to tell you to hide from everybody. The elderly have to be a little bit more cautious than we do. But we're going to encourage you to be prepared for that specific reason. You're not going to be able to hide from these crowds 365 days out of the year. It's just how it is. When it comes to holiday season, I don't expect people to hide from parties, from family events, from different stuff like that, traveling. So what we're going to encourage you to listen to what David said when it comes to hydration, sleep, and hygiene and everything. But then, and the supplementation, but then again, be prepared. Have it in your cabinet. If you make a mistake, you share a bowl of spaghetti with your son who just got home from school and he's, got sinuses and boogers and sneezing everywhere. It's like, all right, well, at least I know I got medicine in my cabinet if I wake up tomorrow and it's not going to be a good day. So I think being prepared and building up your immune system for when these things do come, because it's not when, it's not if, it's when, is a very important thing to do. And so being prepared, I'm always a proponent of it. And I'm gonna say this 100 times and 1,000 times again and again. Be prepared. Don't hide from the public. It's gonna happen. But we're gonna do what we can to get you the medicine that you want, that you need, as long as our doctors are safe. They get safe and effective.
It's interesting, and I'll add this real quick. We keep saying that we're prepared, but it is so important. But I guess we're used to it because we live here in South Florida. Boca Raton, Florida is where we're located. And we always hear during hurricane season, it's Mother Nature. So, you can't hide. It's inevitable. We hope and pray that there's no major hurricane coming through. But if it does, we know to be prepared. We don't wait till the day before that storm is coming and it's only 24 hours away and we're going to decide to put up the shutters, to go get water, that stuff will already be gone. it's so important because if it is coming, we already know we have batteries, we have food, we have we have a can opener, we have things ready because, we've lived here for so many years. But it's the same concept with your health. If you're worried about your house and other, materialistic things, obviously that's extremely important, but shouldn't you be just as important as your health and as worried and concerned that you should be as prepared for that? And that's 365 days, not just during a hurricane season.
Yeah.
Same concept. So hopefully that'll give a little food for thought.
Yes, thank you for that, David, because we've seen that in the Southeast, especially over the course of the last 12 to 15 months. Very strange storms, including winter storms that I think surprised all of us with our home studios right here in Alabama. Gentlemen, it's allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Can you tell us about any of the special deals, codes, and offers so people can get prepared as they turn on college football on Saturday and the pros on Sunday? The weather is nice right now, but with the change in temperature comes the sniffles, comes the fevers, comes those colds. And how can they remain prepared before they get into the holiday season here?
Yeah, so right now we have the RSBN 10 coupon code, obviously that's 10% off your entire order. We have the Substack, which we talked about on a different segment, which is going to have some of the same verbiage that David went over just now, written by either David or one of his colleagues, people with PhDs, pharmacists. We even have MDs. So we're having a lot of individuals who are medical professionals write these Substacks for informational purposes. But back to coupons. Follow the Substack because that is the best way for us to get these coupon codes out to our patients and individuals who are interested in utilizing our services. Unfortunately, Google and Yahoo, these crazy corporate companies, they don't allow us to utilize emails like we want to use. So we've created a Substack that'll go right to your inbox and you'll be able to get the coupon codes. Over the last 2 years, I've heard from countless amount of patients state, I never got access to that discount. I never got that coupon code. And we text and we email all of our patients the coupon code. And so one of the new ways that we're utilizing is our Substack because it goes to your inbox. It doesn't get caught in spam. It doesn't get blocked by your Gmail filters. It's going to go right to your inbox. You're going to be able to get the newest, most up-to-date coupon code. Sometimes we run 10%. Sometimes we run 15%. Sometimes we run 20%. And as you know, once, twice a year, we'll throw in a BOGO coupon where you'll buy one, get one free. And you'll save tons of money. And it's the best way to stock up and prepare for the next 365 days.
Michael Kunzler, David McCary, thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing your expertise here on Right Side Broadcasting Network for this extraordinary special, All Family Pharmacy, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN, again, where you can find life-saving medications for the cold and flu and COVID season that's right before us. Please come back and see us again very soon. I learned a lot today, and we'll keep sharing it here at Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. Great to be back.